Surprise! It's Monday! We're gonna be doing more Monday videos instead of Wednesday because Monday makes more sense than Wednesday, mythological day. So from here on out, we're gonna be doing all of our stories and videos on every other Monday. No more Wednesday because Mythic Mondays sounds way cooler. Did you know that one of Japan's most worshipped and acknowledged Shinto deity isn't even in classical Japanese mythology? Yeah, isn't that crazy? So we're going to be talking about the goddess Inari, although Inari is technically androgynous. Inari's form has shifted over time and has lasted for hundreds, if not hundreds. Just a couple hundred years. Before we begin, if you want to learn more about Inari, go ahead and check out the description below for some more links about Inari, the history of Inari. It's a fascinating, really cool history. We're only going to be doing an overview, so here it goes. Inari is the Japanese kami, or deity, of fertility, rice, agriculture, foxes, industry, and worldly success. They are a popular figure in both Shinto and Buddhist beliefs, so much so that more than 1/3 of Shinto shrines in Japan are dedicated to Inari. With more than 30,000 shrines dedicated, it is also one of the most honored Shinto deities in the country. The Fushimi Inari Shrine is the head shrine of this kami, located in Kyoto, which I've actually been to. This is also where the glorious movie Memoirs of a Geisha was filmed. The origin of the worship of Inari is not exactly known. Even the name Inari doesn't appear in classical Japanese mythology. What we do know is that the first recorded use of the present-day kanji, or characters, of Inari appears in a historical text around 827 CE. Inari means, quote, carrying rice. A lot of scholars agree that the name Inari derives from growing rice. They also believe that the worship of Inari is known to have existed as of 711 CE. This is the official founding date of the Fushimi Inari Shrine. According to legend, Inari was first worshipped on Mount Inari following a discovery by a man called Hata no Irogu. The story goes, one day he was practicing his archery skills using mochi as targets. One shot hit the mochi, which then magically transformed into a white dove. The man decided to follow the bird, which eventually landed on the peak of Mount Inari called Mitsumine. And there he found rice growing, and so began the worship of Inari as a Shinto kami. Many historians believe that the worship of Inari goes back even further to the late 5th century before the arrival of Buddhism in Japan. There's a belief that the Hata clan began the formal worship of Inari as an agricultural kami during this time. Buddhism quickly picked up the significance of Inari and Inari shrines. This is because agriculture, rice, and tea were and are important to Japanese culture and their economy. The kami was then known as a god of prosperity and success. The kami also represents the spirit of life that is in everything. Inari symbolizes soil fertility as well as births, the working force, as well as maternal gentleness. As such, they also appear as the protector of women, and in particular those marginalized such as undesirables, prostitutes, and infertile women. By the 16th century, Inari had become the patron of blacksmiths and the protector of warriors during the Edo period. The worship of Inari spread all across Japan. Inari is sometimes identified with other mythological figures in Japanese mythology. This includes the Shinto male deity Uka no Mitama, who's also known as August Spirit of Food. Inari is also associated with the goddess of food, Ukemochi no Kami. Inari was said to have arrived in Japan during its creation, riding on a back of a white fox. A harsh famine had struck the land, summoning the kami from their heavenly abode into the land of mankind, carrying grains to liberate the starving people from their hunger. Because of Inari's close association with kitsune, or fox deities or fox spirits that possess paranormal abilities, the kami is sometimes portrayed as a fox itself. When you go to an Inari shrine, you will usually see one or more vermilion torii gates. Here's a glorious photo for you, and some statues of kitsune. They typically come in pairs, representing a male and a female. These fox statues hold a symbolic item in their mouth or beneath a front paw. It's similar to the Chinese foo dogs. They are usually seen with a jewel, a key, maybe a sheaf of rice, a scroll, or even a fox cub. They're all very common. Almost all Inari shrines will feature at least a pair of these statues. As you can see, Inari is constantly changing and is a very fluid god. They are depicted as an androgynous figure, sometimes as a bearded man riding a white fox, or as a woman with long flowing hair carrying sheaves of rice. Inari is one of the deities who has changed and adjusted to the evolving times in Japanese history, so they are still worshipped and revered today. Over the years, Inari has taken on many forms, so it's difficult to pin the deity down or categorize them into one box, as is fairly common with very old gods. In other religions, you can see Inari being really similar to the Indian Dakini, a Buddhist spirit, Demeter in Greek mythology, Dionysus, or Bacchus from Greek-Roman mythology, even Freya from Norse mythology. They are an embodiment of many, many characteristics and traits. Not only that, Inari is embedded in pop culture throughout Japan and all over the world. So here are some examples of that you might have seen already. There's the Ghost of Tsushima, the video game, also Persona 5, which is one of my favorite video games, Pokemon, World of Darkness, the whole role-playing series. There's a manga called Hyper Police that features Inari. There's even a cosmetics company called Shiseido that I believe has been in business for over 150 years that is based on Inari. It'll be fascinating to see how Inari changes over time from now into the future. You will find throughout history in a lot of cultures that gods tend to shift. It is rare and kind of weird for a god just to have one domain. They're only there for love. That is it. That's very Greek and Roman, and you can see that even then, they have amazing characteristics that span all across different traits, different kinds of realms. They're gods. They're basically people. We don't have one thing we're good at. We're good at all kinds of stuff. Keep watching if you enjoy mythology, goddesses, and heroines from all across the globe. There's plenty of videos to choose from. You can see them all listed over here. For my socials, you can find links down below at Kaiti Draws. I have Instagram, TikTok. I have Twitter, Instagram at Kaiti Draws. Join me in the conversation. Let me know what god or heroine you want to see next time. In 2 weeks, we are going to be talking about the Valkyrie Hildir, and we will be talking about Valkyries just briefly because they are kind of important in Norse mythology, but keep watching and stay tuned.